Well, hello again. It's another day. Well, another night actually. So I have once again been playing around with my loadout and whatnot, and as you can see, I'm going for more of like a neon space theme sort of thing. Figured it would, kind of fit me a little better. Anyways, yeah, happy Friday night, early Saturday morning to anybody and everybody who comes around or who watches this later. I would have streamed earlier, however, there was a bit of difficulties, not with any of my setup this time, but actually with my surrounding area. There was a couple of arsons that happened just a little further. Like, one happened quite literally just down the street from me, and another one a little bit further in town. But the two arsons that happened actually made I'm gonna move this over. Actually made the power go out, and it didn't just go out and that was it. It did this weird thing where the power was like working at like a crawl, half capacity, and then after about 20 minutes it just completely died out. Half of my house was basically without any kind of power, and the other half was just barely working. I have a fan that I always keep, a standing fan that I always keep on over by me. It's on the lowest, it was on the lowest setting and still is, and it was just barely moving. The refrigeration in my refrigerator was basically whispering. It wasn't even, you couldn't even hear that it was on. My microwave worked fine, and a couple of other things in the house worked good, but other than that, there was just nothing. And like I said, after about 20 minutes of that, it just died, and we were basically sitting without power for a few hours. Finally came back on, and then by the time that happened, we had already had company over, and we were just kind of enjoying having them around. So I am now having a little bit of free time around midnight, so figured what we would do today, seeing as I still wanted to do a stream because it was Friday. I'm going to kind of catch up with a little bit of the news that is going on today, at least in the drama sphere, as far as Dark City and Borellian Dave Benita is doing, and what's going on with him. And also, there is, as you can tell from the title, there is also a why is that like that? Hold on, let me move this down. Do that. There we go. Alright, anyways, so yeah, there is a little bit of stuff going on with Dark Cidian Pissant, and as the title also shows, there is an update with Mutahar, Some Ordinary Gamers, which kind of goes a little bit in line with what we're going to be talking about with King Boulder. As he is, I'm using that as kind of an inside joke because of something that he had said during his wonderful podcast at one point, referring to himself as referring to himself as a boulder gaining momentum. I just found that ironic just to hear that. But yeah, we're going to cover a little bit of him. We're going to watch some videos and just kind of react to them in real time. I think only one or two of them it was one of them I actually watched. The other one was just going to be completely blind, going to go through it. And of course, we're not watching Phil's content straight from his channel, only because of the fact that I personally am not going to give him any views, and that's not necessarily a shot. It's just I don't feel like supporting someone whom I have a distaste for. And just to put it out in the open, because I know Phil is going to watch this, and the only reason I know that Phil is going to watch this is because anytime that his name comes up, he has a kind of a Matt Jarbo, Mundane Matt, for those who don't know that name, has the same sort of tick that Matt Jarbo has. And that's whenever his name comes up at all, he will bring up, or rather his Google alerts will let him know when his name shows up. So if I put, which I already have, DSP in the title of this, then he gets a little bit of a bloop on his phone, and it lets him know that, oh, hey, someone mentioned you. So I'm pretty sure he's got Google Alerts set up for his phone, or set up on his phone for his name. So because I know he's going to be watching this, I just want to give Phil a very personalized message from me. As far as you go, whenever it comes to my history with you, I have been around YouTube about the same amount of time that YouTube has been around. Now, granted, I personally have not decided to do any sort of content up until very, very recently. And the main reason for that is because I had no real interest in becoming a big name on YouTube or anything like that. I, to this day, kind of still don't. If I do end up at some point, due to luck of the draw, graced by the algorithm or whatever the case is, if I do at some point end up becoming a big name, then I will consider that much like what Moist Critical or Charlie considers it to be, as a bit of a blessing. And I will continue to treat it as such. However, as far as my history goes with you, like I said, I've been around since YouTube's basically been a website, and I had noticed your early rise in the on your DSP gaming channel, or I guess what would be, I don't know, I don't remember exactly if you actually had a channel that was just called Dark Side Phil, but I had kind of kept up with you since I started watching video game videos, not necessarily Let's Plays, only because of the fact that I personally couldn't get into listening to you talk over a game. I would much rather just watch a game with no commentary. Now, does that mean that I don't watch Let's Players at all? That's not true. There was another person who I don't even think they make videos anymore. I haven't seen them do anything, but there was a guy named Quad Sucks who did a Let's Play of Fallout 3, and he did all of the DLC. So it was like the Game of the Year edition, essentially. So all the DLC and everything. Watched his playthrough from beginning to end. He had interesting commentary, facts about the game, a little bit of jokes and gripes as he went through. It was kind of an interesting thing. Now, your Let's Plays have never been like that. Your Let's Plays have actually been more along the lines of you being vastly annoying. You talk through all of the scenes and whatnot. Anytime that there's a cutscene, you gotta chime in, you gotta say some shit, and it always irritated me and rubbed me the wrong way, so therefore I didn't really watch you. However, there was a point in time that I did subscribe to your channel, and that was back during early 2010s. Yeah, the early 2010s, and that was back during, this is going to be kind of showing what kind of person I am, I guess. This was back during whenever, you being a big wrestling fan, whenever John Cena and CM Punk had their big butting of the heads, and they did their whole, there's two champions, there can only be one, and that sort of thing. That's about around the time that I was watching you, because you had your own input on what all that was and what was going on. And so I watched that. I didn't really care about any of your other content. Your whole Xbox message ridicule thing that I know the casino had covered at one point. Never really got into that. I was not very, well, I guess what you would consider to be impressed with anything that you did as far as that's concerned. And just didn't care. Not gonna lie, I just did not give a shit. Now, does that mean that, now what does that mean as far as watching you is concerned? After all, I just said that I did watch you, and I was watching you at one point. That was honestly the only real time that I cared about what you had to say, which was during the whole wrestling stuff, because me and my family, especially my brothers, we're very into the whole wrestling thing. I kind of still am, only for different reasons. Nowadays, I just kind of watch for the storytelling. I don't really care about the matches or whatever. I just mainly just watch to see the characters and the gimmicks, and what storylines are going on. That's quite literally it. I don't care about anything else. Why is this not changed? Sorry, I'm once again editing stuff on the fly, as we always do. I might just have to go in and... Damn it. Alright, 1 second, please. One second. As I once more edit on the fly, as we always do. There's always some sort of problem. Change that to just chatting. Sweet. Okay. Alright. Anywho's. So, that's where my history as far as me watching you and all that shit is concerned. Now, with everything else though, just to kind of, like I said, give you an idea of where I stand, I never really cared about anything else that you had to say up to that point. And whenever you started doing more political stuff, kind of fell off, and I ended up unsubscribing one day in those early 2010s. Haven't looked back on it since, and quite frankly, never will. However, where my major distaste started coming from, and this is a distaste, this isn't a hatred of your content, it's a distaste of your content. Where I started having a problem with you is when I started seeing exactly what kind of person you were. Now, in your early days, you would tell people to click on the ads on your videos, which breaks TOS, and it's also I do believe it's a breaking of the whole partner ad revenue program thing. And I got an even bigger distaste of you because I had noticed that any time that you started your live streaming stuff, you would consistently, I know it's about the same consistency now, but you would go a little harder and a little heavier back in the early days, where it would be, constant, essentially acting like the watered down version of Low Tier God, where instead of you being like, hey, I need $30 right now to turn my camera on, it was, hey guys, I've noticed that I've been streaming for like 30 minutes and there's no tips coming in, there's no contributions. I'm wondering, are you all bored, and is there something else we should do? Should I just end the stream now? And like you would threaten that over and over and over again. And it was just the idea of how you needed, like absolutely 100% needed, your contributions to continue doing anything, just left a bad taste in my mouth, especially since you had basically done everything more or less for free up to that point, and then suddenly money was everything. And that's where the distaste started. Where it kind of cemented itself was when you kind of started harping about your back taxes, and you heavily, and I mean heavily, started getting into like every stream, 50 times a stream, no matter how long the stream is. Need the money, need the money, need the money, need the money. Pay me right now, pay me right now. Need the money, pay me right now, pay me right now. Like it's no different to me. It's no different than if you were having someone just kind of living on the street next to you, and every day that you came out to walk to your car, they would run up to you from the street, and for every step that you're taking to your car, they're like, hey, can I have some money, 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 can I have some money, 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 money? It's no different. It's very annoying, and it's just tiresome. So I don't, like, hate you. I would never claim that. I just don't like you. And I have a big distaste for people of your ilk. It's the same thing with it's kind of the same thing with Wings, although Wings, I have noticed, is very slowly but surely turning himself around. It's no different than his content. It's no different than Low Tier God's content. It's no different than all those people on Twitch that will stare into the camera and they'll be like, hey, if you have enough time to sit here and watch me for 2 hours, then you should be able to give me $5 a month. You're not entitled to it. It's the heavy entitlement that really irks me. So, now that I've got that out of the way, and because I know you watch everything that has your name attached to it, that should hopefully give you an idea of where I'm coming from whenever I do these particular streams and I watch videos on you, and why I don't go to your channel to watch your content directly. Speaking of that, there's another thing that irks me to the core about you. And that's whenever you say, oh, everybody just watches detractor content, and every detractor content that's out there is completely unreliable, is false, paints a false narrative, and is never correct. Every detractor channel that I've ever watched, starting with the almighty Tevin, has never done anything untowarded about the words you say. And what I mean by that is they don't just take the worst things that you say and just put it in like a collaboration, just a collection video, and just go, here's all the bad shit that Phil said in the last week. Every detractor channel that I've watched has included the context of everything that you've said within the video itself, and for the most part, as a matter of fact, for just about all of it, other than the obvious ones that are clearly edited and are just silly, shoutouts to Dick Stroking Phil vlogs for that. But other than the ones that are just obviously egregiously like editing everything together and kind of making like a YouTube poop style thing of your content, everything everybody's included is just the words that you have said with the context around it. For example, here recently you put up your wonderful little hexagon display, and that hexagon display that you have put up is, needless to say, while you were doing it, it was just the silliest stream ever. There's honestly no reason other than you just using your work as an excuse. There was no reason to live stream that. It was, honestly, it's no different than if you were a cam girl and you were cleaning your kitchen or cleaning your living room and you were just having people watch you do it. That's basically along the same lines of content that you were trying to produce there. The main difference is that some of those that they do can be entertaining, whereas yours is just, honking, snorting, farting, not really understanding the instructions that you read, doing your little shit all the time. No, can't do it. It's like watching a middle schooler who is not funny at all and is just overly obnoxious trying to be funny. But anyways, in that stream, you were talking to your chat, and at one point, you overtly just called someone a retard. Now, I know you don't really care who that was. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain that you don't give a shit who it was. But the thing is that you, and I'm pretty sure I got the video that kind of goes along this, and we will watch it. You treat people talking bad about your fans, anyone who calls your fans a dent, for example, which, is a knock on their intelligence. You consider that a slur. But if you call someone in your own chat, whether they be someone who's paid you before or not a retard, you don't consider that a slur. So I don't understand that part. But it just kind of seems like to me, especially in the context of that all people do is they just take what you have said and just put it in a video with the context surrounding it, and they're like, hey, not the best of people. So if you're looking to support somebody, might not be this person. As far as another person goes, which I have openly watched his videos on this and reacted to them, is Duty Streams, who you absolutely can't stand, because the dude quite literally proved, which we will go over, that you don't need the extra. You don't need, and that's the word that I want to emphasize. You don't need the extra money that has been rolling in for the last 2 weeks, because you make more money than what the average person in America working 2 jobs makes in 1 month due to the partner program on YouTube. The ad revenue that you get from all the views and whatnot that your channel gets, you make plenty enough money that you don't need the extra. And the fact that you use the idea of you needing it as the goal every single time you stream is atrocious, to say the least. It's irredeemable, it's reprehensible, and honestly, it just makes me and plenty of other people just flat out not like you. So, before we move on, the last thing that I will say to Phil, who I know is going to be watching this, I think my good green buddy Zorak can tell you the best of how I feel about you in general.
You.
That's exactly it. Anyways, so we're going to go ahead now and we are going to watch our first video here, and this is from Memology 101. And it's going to be covering the Duty showing what he makes and kind of exposing Phil's lies about ad revenue and whatnot, and how much he should be making in comparison to what Duty has been making. So let's go ahead and get this set her up here. As a matter of fact, I should move those up, actually. Just move them just up above that. That way, whenever they play again, it won't look awkward because of the little audio bar that I have down there. I think it's a nice little touch. And shout outs to Broside Phil for kind of giving me the idea to add the little audio visualizers at the bottom there. I think it's, honestly, I think it's quite frankly a very, very good and nice touch. So let's gotta get rid of this. There we go. And we will quickly reassemble this as it's still aligned to my old setup. We're going to realign this to the new one, which is going to take all of a couple of seconds. There we go. Let's move it down just a tad bit. And there we go. We got it. We are amazing. We are awesome. Sweet shit. Alright. Let's get into this.
Deplorable videos about me is making this man $5,000 a month. You didn't come up out of nowhere. People really like your charismatic personality, and that's how you won over viewers. You won them over on my back. Disable all advertisements and kick yourself out of the partner program right now. So I need to raise money in order to save my ass from these state taxes out of nowhere that came up out of nowhere. So people.
Now that's part of that right there is perfect example as part of one of the reasons why I started not liking it was there right there. Oh, and these state taxes came up out of nowhere. You supposedly have a fucking tax guy, an accountant, whatever the fuck you wanted to call him during the time. You supposedly had somebody that was there that could just be like, hey Phil, just wanted to tell you, you need to start paying on your taxes. Apparently you supposedly had that dude there, but you know, whatever. I think it's just another fucking lie. Anyways, the idea of him already telling of just the tease at the beginning there that Duty needs to kick himself out of the partner program because he's making the amount of money that he's making up, quote unquote, off of your back. I mean, quite frankly, hearing, like, I don't really care too much to listen to Duty talk in his own video, but if I were to have a choice, I would much rather, and I'm talking way much rather, hear him do a 20-minute video or then listen to you talk for 20 minutes in a segment. And by the way, we are going to be watching this at like 1.25 because if I hear him talk at his normal speed, I'm going to get way more sleepy than what I already am.
People come out, we're supportive of Phil, let's cheer, let's dip, they do it, great, now get past the state taxes, but now federal tax, oh, now you owe more because you made more money. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like
that's how taxes work.
to introduce a segment to the show. And the name of this segment is going to be called Playing with Duty. Roblox King to me a dollar. He says, you don't entertain children, but I'm a kid. Should I not watch? You're not a kid, actually, because you would not legally be able.
Playing with Duty. Man. You know, you've been using that whole Kino Casino thing of felted here recently, and you've also been using the whole dumb dynamic of that's stupid king shit. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop on that bandwagon and say that if you're already introducing a segment that is solely dedicated to one of your quote-unquote biggest detractors, I would say that's some felting going on with you already.
Able to contribute via a tip if you were a kid. So you're a liar. Thank you for the $1 tip. Okay. You know, some people like to. Some people, they choose to play with duty. They poke it, they feel it up, they spend time with it, they talk to it. Some people interact with duty. I don't know if you're aware of this. I mean, I have evidence of it right here. Here's a bunch of people who like to play with duty, all right? So today we'll play with duty, all right? You wonder why am I bringing this up? Because...
Well, thanks, you dude.
Because my detractors are so dumb, all right? They actually don't understand. Like, they literally dance like puppets on strings. $100 tip here on the stream today. Humongous contribution. Thank you so very much. Let's play the animation. Let's do the dance. Ready? Whenever I say or do something, they can't resist reacting to it. You understand?
Oh
they
my
can't.
God.
They literally can't resist taking the bait. Almost every single time that I've attempted to do something where there's bait to be taken, they take it. Dude, did you look at the fucking mirror, you stupid muppet? And I just ignore the situation and it all just resolves itself. In this case, like I said, I'm never going to have to actively go after anyone because in time, what's going to happen is they're all just going to unravel themselves. You understand? Like what happened with Review Tech USA? I just sat there and took his abuse for a good 10 years. And now look what's happening to the man. It's called karma, right? As I've said many times, you know, people will get what's coming to them. It's called karma. But anyway, so what we have here is a video that Duty released yesterday called Debunking DSP's Lies About... Well, actually, it's not even DSP's lies, which would be proper grammar. It's debunking DSP lies about ad revenue and views. Duty brings receipts. Okay, so to clarify, Duty is actually one of my detractors. Okay? He's one of the more recent ones. I think he's only been doing it for, what, a couple of years? Okay? Like, I mean, that's pretty pathetic. He can't even get a view on his own. So he actually has to use my name in the title, in his hashtag. Every piece of content that Duty puts out is DSP. It's not Duty, it's DSP. That's why people are watching it. You understand?
Sure.
Original source, the King of Crybabies HD. No, the original source is DSPGaming. Look, it even fucking says it. In the bottom left-hand corner of the screen is my fucking watermark. It's from me. It's not from the King of Crybabies HD. They stole my content, and this idiot is crediting people who stole it from my channel because they're a moron. If you made this video, you're a fucking moron. Congratulations. You just proven you're a fucking idiot. You can't even credit the stuff right. Now, in this video.
Wow, see? See what I mean? And that's honestly all that he fucking ever has. Is just calling him a dunce, an idiot. That's all you got, and there's never anything else. They're always just dumb. Always just dumb. They're always just idiots. Always just dunces. Always just morons. And it can be someone who is 100% more fucking educated than DSP has ever been in his entire fucking existence. They can have more brains on a horrible day, drunk and high, than he would on a day that he's got ultimate clarity and is completely sober. You know, I actually have an idea for you, Phil. I know a way that that you can make your show better. Oh, wrong one. I know a way that you can make your show better.
How about I come out at the beginning of every show and hit you upside the head with a hammer?
I'd watch that show.
And light your teeth on fire and puncture your eardrums with golf tees until your spinal fluid leaks out.
I mean, I would watch that show too. I'm with Zorak on that one. I would heavily watch that show. Oh man, I love Space Ghost. Anyways, moving on.
We're not going to watch it. It's 18 minutes long. It's hilarious. But I'm not going to waste 18 minutes of my time on this turd.
See, now, I don't... Okay. He has receipts. He has proof that you're lying. And it's in the 18 minutes of the video. And you're not going to watch it because it's 18 minutes and because you don't want to bother. Yet you get mad at everybody else because they don't sit in your fucking streams for the 5 to 6 hours to 5 or what is it 5 to 8 hours that you stream every fucking day, and they don't listen to all of the context that goes on with what you say in those. But you can't spare 18 minutes.
But I just want to show you, basically, his entire setup is making fun of memes about me. You know, 1651, which is a meme that supposedly I spent 1651 on a mobile game. I have 2 big bills coming up. Please support the stream. I guess that's supposed to be something I said at one point, which I believe I did.
Yeah, you did. Many
so
times.
far, things are working well with the new tipping system. You guys seem to be using it fine, no issues. Everything seems working great. I hope we can keep that up, get some good support in the next 3 days. Like I told you guys, this weekend is the weekend when the giant bills are due for both my internet bill and my dues here for where I live.
There it is.
But I also have my day off on Thursday, and then I got my day off next week. So tips, super important this coming week. If you like the content, I would absolutely appreciate if you could tip me. It would help a lot. I don't know why Fallout is the border. I mean, he's literally got a picture of my ex, who I've not had any association with. I broke up with her over 7 years ago. 7 years. She has not been a part of my content, nor have I brought her up or mentioned her. He's got a picture of my ex in the bottom left-hand corner of his screen. I would like you to think about that for a moment, okay? In addition, what you see right there, this right here, here's my cursor. This right here, okay, I guess is supposed to be the avatar that he speaks from. Let me just test that.
Your boy Duty back again with another video. That's right.
So there you go. That's the avatar he's speaking from.
Yeah,
now,
because
if you
it's
notice,
supposed to be you.
that avatar seems to have my hairstyle, seems to have my facial hair, right? Like, I guess that's supposed to be a representation of me, a pig in the Fallout Vault Dweller costume.
Pig
correct?
roach.
Is that what that's supposed to be? Is that supposed to be representative of me? I literally didn't notice any graphical differences between the two. They look the same to me. Now I have a question, all right? I'd like you to look at that. Are we looking at that? Now I'd like you to look at me. Me, 200-pound Darkside Phil, right? Which I have been for like 2 years, right? Does that look like me? Yes! I mean, if you were to argue that's, you know, Wings or Boogie, and that's the meme, is that all these Lolcows are fat or whatever. That's literally not even me. Why would I look like that? I'm not.
Okay, it might not be like much of a thing to hit on. However, I will say that I don't know how tall you are, and I don't think it necessarily matters, but you're 200 pounds, okay? So let's just go ahead and say that for the height that you are, that the weight that you have, the weight you are currently is, I don't know, evens out. Let's just say that it's normal, right? Just from last Halloween. Maybe it's different this year. Who knows? Because Halloween is now well on its way here because, you know, it's late August. Let's look back at the Halloween costume that you had last year. You had 2 Halloween costumes last year, I'm pretty sure. I think for one stream, you were dressed up as Ken. You had the blonde hair wig and, you know, the whole gi and everything. And then the other one, you had the Ryu outfit. It was like a whole Street Fighter thing. Both of those outfits were struggling to maintain on you. Whenever you got up to leave to go piss or whatever it was at some point, you could see the costume around especially around where the gi belt is, the waist, and it looked like it was a 5-pound sack holding 10 pounds of potatoes. It was tearing off, literally tearing off at the seams. So, if that's the case, and let's say that let's be generous and say it's the case that now, as of this year, you are not overweight or anything like that, and anything that you wear isn't like struggling to stay on you because the buttons and the seams aren't ripping out. We can expect then that this coming Halloween, whatever costume that you do end up deciding to wear, hopefully isn't, you know, god awful, but let's face it, you're Dave Bennett, so it will. first of all, it won't look bad on you, and it won't be ripping at the seams. So that's what we're to expect. I'm not looking forward to Halloween, especially with what you're going to be wearing, because you wear the worst fucking costumes, and you have, like, some god-awful, just god-awful, just god-awful ideas of what to wear for your fucking Halloween holidays and all that shit. Like, even just seeing you in one of those, like, ugly sweaters for Christmas is cringy. But this is my opinion.
Not a fat pig. Even if you say I'm a pig because of the way I behave on stream, that's one thing. But that's literally not even a joke. Again, these are the detractor memes.
Have you went back and watched yourself eat? That's a legitimate question. Have you actually, like, watched part of your streams back and seen how you look whenever you're eating? You literally look like you're disgusted with what you're eating, even if you like it, and you take these weird, unhinged, large jaw bites. I don't understand how someone like you eats that way. Like, you have, like, this, I gotta touch it with my teeth first sort of thing. Like, you don't like what you're eating to touch your lips. It's really weird.
Memes is that what they do is they make this collective weird groupthink idea up, and then they all just regurgitate it over and over, and then they believe it. Like, in the minds of my detractors, and this is not a joke, they actually think I'm grossly overweight. They believe that. They actually think that Darkside Phil is grossly overweight, even though I weigh 200 pounds and I'm just about 6.
I don't think that he's about to tell his height, I think. I don't think that you're grossly overweight. I just think you're gross, but that's a whole different story. Let's back up 5 seconds so we can hear what the height is, too.
They believe that. They actually think that Darkside Phil is grossly overweight, even though I weigh 200 pounds and I'm just about 6 feet tall. They actually...
Okay, so we'll be generous and say you're 5'11", and you're about 200 pounds. I don't know what BMIs are, like, right off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I could just pull up a calculator and do it real quick. But I don't know if you would necessarily be grossly overweight. I'm pretty sure you're probably a little too heavy for your size. But that's if, of course, you're telling the truth, because much like even though you don't like to consider yourself a Lolcow or whatever, but much like the other Lolcows, you are along the same dimensions whenever it comes to being a reliable narrator. You have lied way too much for anybody to take anything that you say as a serious note. So,
You think that, okay? It's insane, right? And by the way, no, the pig is not about begging. The pig is because I snort because I have postnasal drip. And on bad days, I have to snort to clear my sinuses or else I cough. That's just a brief analyzation, a momentary glimpse into the content that my detractors make. I haven't even talked about the content of the video yet, because you're going to see this guy self-felt himself so fucking badly in this video. It's irreparable.
And you claim that detractors have a one mind, hive mind sort of thing, that they believe each other no matter what they say, and they regurgitate these things. Yet here you are, still 2 weeks later, still doing the whole self-felt, you've just been felted, I'm the king shit that the Kino Casino essentially bestowed upon you, because you didn't even know what the fuck felted meant, or even had an idea of that meme word until you went and spent a stream with them, and now you literally have adopted it into your own vocabulary. You are the chameleon of any sort of social group. You have to take what everybody else does and adopt it into your own thing, otherwise you, I don't know, I guess you like fall apart or some shit.
Damage, but we're going to get to it in a second because I have shout outs to do. What he's showing here is his channel analytics. And you might wonder, why would Doody be showing his channel analytics? All right, well, he's showing them because basically in a recent video, I said the following, or I'll paraphrase. I said, my detractors are seething.
I'll paraphrase in DSP translation pig roach talk. That's I'm about to lie to you about what I said.
They're losers because They are angry that I'm successful, that now I have a second wind and everyone is liking my content and coming to check me out, and that I'm popular again. They can't handle that, right? They depend on me basically being a loser to make their content, and so they're very upset. And I even went as far to say, listen, these people are losers. The videos they put out get a few thousand views a day.
They're
losers. Okay, they're not getting hundreds of thousands of views on these videos. The thing is, they put out a bunch of them, so the videos add up in viewership, right? So basically, I said they're not making a ton of views or whatever on this stuff. And in addition to that, you know, it's ad revenue versus other. You know, my revenue is based on both ad revenue, but also I have super chats, I have memberships, I have tips. Those are my goals for the day, and I get the ad revenue on top of it as well. These guys, a lot of them are just basing it on ad revenue. And I kind of said, you know, they're only hating on me for money, for the little that they're making. And, you know, it's going to turn around. Like, basically, it's all going to turn around because now I'm getting my second wind and people like it.
What little that they're making. If I was currently making over $5,000 a month, I personally, and where I am in my life right now, would be fucking set. I wouldn't need any more than that a month. I would be getting up every morning with fucking bells on if I knew that at the end of every month I was getting fucking $5,000.
Like me again. All right, so I said things like this on my stream. So what he does is he turns this into an 18-minute special video where he says, I have to debunk DSP's lies about ad revenue and views. He goes on to say that, look at my channel. So I brought in 1.2 million views on my 2D Streams channel in July, okay? And that resulted in $5,036.96 in ad revenue for me because I'm a partner on YouTube.
Yep.
Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Show me the money. Whoa. So literally him making these awful, factually untrue, unhinged, deplorable videos about me is making this man $5,000 a month. Okay.
How is his content any of that? Deplorable, unhinged, untrue, factually wrong videos. Where? Where? He literally just clips and repeats the same shit that you've said. The only difference with this particular video is that he actually has proof against what you yourself have said. You have said in the past that you, and just recently in the past too, that there is no way that you can live off of just the ad revenue alone from your fucking videos. I'm pretty sure that you're getting roughly the same amount, if not more, because you will even start to say later on as we go into this that you get more views than 1 million a month. So if you're getting more than 1 million views a month, then you should be making bank. More bank than what Duty's doing.
Okay? Wow. I'm sure many of you were shocked, right? When you see that, you're like, wow, did you really think that it was going to be that profitable, right? It's pretty insane when you think about it, right? I mean, I'll be very honest with you guys. I don't get that many views a month. In an average month, this channel probably brings in 600K views these days. You know, some months we spike. When we have a busy month with games, I'll get 700, 800K views. I rarely hit 1 million. I couldn't even tell you the last time I had 1 million views. It's probably been years. So I want you to think about this. A person who is literally shitting on me all day, making shit up, defaming and slandering me, is making 5,000.
I'm trying not to get really fucking mad. Defaming and slandering you. In order for him to be doing anything close to the legal definition of defamation and slander, you would have to prove, without a shadow of a doubt, that what he is saying, he knows to be a lie whenever he says it, that he's using what he says and the information that he puts out for nefarious reasons. And on top of that, you would have to prove in some sort of way that what he and everybody else who is a detractor of yours is doing is causing you to lose some sort of financial or monetary gain. And guess what? You can't fucking do it. That's the reason why there hasn't been a DSP sues one of his detractors thing ever since you've had them. So you need to quit fucking saying that. You and everybody else that's like you, all these fucking old internet guys will say that shit. Like, you show your age whenever you start having all these retarded boomer internet's points where it's like, oh, I'm being defamed and slandered. You hate on me, therefore you want my entire content and channel to fall to the ground and burn to ashes. Give me a break.
$1,000 a month doing it, all right? And he's also getting more views than me. Well, the first thing that I want to say is that when I say things like, oh, well, you see, YouTube ad revenue isn't that good, you can't really make a living on it. Well, look at this, Phil. I'm bringing in $5,000 a month on ad revenue, so you're a liar. You could definitely make a living on it. Well, first of all, Duty, like I said, I bring in around $600K, which is about half of what you brought in July. So my ad revenue would be about half of that. So yeah, if you're bringing in the amount of views that I'm kind of bringing in, you can't make a living on that, right? I'm speaking from experience. That ad revenue has plummeted. There was a time when I could bring in 1 million views a month and I would be making like $8K a month on ad revenue. You understand that? That was before the adpocalypse. The adpocalypse changed all of that. And that's the point that I've been making. So many people had to change the way that they made content, me included. I have to now take super chats, tips. And by the way, I got a generous tip. I promise you I will shout this out. I just don't want to lose my train of thought. So his point that, oh, well, Phil always says you can't make a living on ad revenue alone. He's lying. All right. Is valid if you're him. All right. But there is a point that I need to make. You know, he made 1.2 million views in July, and literally every one of those views is my view. Like, you understand that, correct?
Every single one of the views that he makes is your view. Or is this going to somehow circle around because he makes videos about you and your content, that somehow means that he's taking the views from you? Is that literally where we're going to go? Because if that is the case, then you should be making over 1 million views every fucking month. Way over.
Dude, I just have to appeal for a second. You understand that those are my views because your content is titled Debunking DSP Lies. Your content is literally tagged hashtag DSP, hashtag DSPGaming, hashtag DSP Throwback. People are searching for me and then they find you.
Yeah, that's called playing the YouTube game there, Philly boy. I thought you were you knew how YouTube worked at this point. Am I wrong? Or have you fallen so far into your old age that now you don't know how YouTube works anymore? You're not on Twitch. You left Twitch after they kicked you out of the partner program and told you could never get back into it, and you've been on YouTube ever since. Surely you, out of all people, should know how YouTube works.
Gamed the system to show up in search first, but those are my viewers. You get that, right? I mean, even guys like Kino Casino, who are watching clips and stuff, they're watching your clips because you're what comes up in search first, because you gamed the system. You didn't come up out of nowhere. People really
oh man, he cheated the system.
Like your charismatic personality, and that's how you won over viewers. You won them over on my back. You understand that? Every single view you have on your channel is my view. Now, I don't get paid for those views. You do, because you're a scumbag. And you monetize slander, defamation, and hate.
It's not slander, defamation. Stop saying that shit. It's not slander and defamation. It's not. In any way, shape, or form. You can't prove it. I'm sorry, but let's look at it in a legal sense. You can't do it. It's not there.
But those are my viewers. So I make 600K viewers in a month, but then I also have your 1.2 million views. So I actually make 2 million views in a month. I mean, we could do this with many different channels. We could go to each detractor's channel where literally the only content they're getting is off of me, and we could keep adding on to the views of my channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could continuously do this and stack it up. The very funny part about all this is if I were to stop making content, you know how many views Duty would have? 0. Literally 0. He would have 0 views. Because the only reason anyone watches this content is me. Whether you like me or you hate me,
it's me. Undoubtedly,
the only reason anyone tuned into Duty streams is because of Darkside Phil. And the moment that DSP is gone, you're gone.
You do realize he's not just covered you, right? Well, then again, you wouldn't know that because, like I said, I'm pretty sure you got Google Alerts set up on your fucking name. So anytime DSP comes up anywhere that you get pinged for it. But he's made plenty of content on other people. It kind of focuses on other lolcows like Chris Chan and Daniel Larson and the Lolcow podcast, or the Lolcow live cast, whatever you want to call it, the Lolcow live show. Boogie, Jordy, all of them. He's done videos on all of them, and you just happen to be included because, well, frankly, you're an endless source of content, especially whenever it comes to responding to the dumb shit that you say.
You're nothing. You're a parasite eating off of me. You understand that? There's no value to you or your existence on YouTube. You're just another symptom of a broken system that only factors in the law, but not morality.
I literally thought we were about to get the DSP version of the LOTR God unalive yourself now thing. But no, it went a completely separate direction.
If there was a morality system on YouTube, your ass would have been wiped and flushed fucking the moment you made your first video. But YouTube is an immoral system that doesn't care.
If YouTube had a quote-unquote moral system, your channel would have been flushed and gone a long time ago as well. Because even though your early content you could claim was you playing a character, you were joking, it was satire, whatever the case is, if YouTube had a quote-unquote moral system and they were supposedly protecting all these other channels from protecting all the channels from attacking other channels, you would be one of the first to go.
And allows people to monetize hate, and that's the only reason you have any pertinence on this website.
Monetize hate.
Now, continuing on, the funny part is with all of this isn't even the self-felt part that I'm talking about yet. The self-felt here is that for those of you who don't know, Doody has outright said over and over and over that he only does this channel because it's fun. He doesn't need the money. He's said this is not him making...
Oh my God. Please, for the love of shit, you're not going down the same fucking route as Ethan Ralph right now. Please tell me you're not going to pull a Ralph Amel and be like, "Oh, you make this channel for fun. What are you doing making money on it?" Is that literally where we're going?
Making fun of Darkside Phil for financial gain. In fact, that's not a stake in it. It's not a big deal for him. He's doing it on principle as a hobby for fun. You know what I'm saying? Like he said this over and over in his own content. All right. But he makes $5,000 a month on a slow month without super chat. You really honestly want me to believe he's not making content about me because he wants to make money. He said this before. He's outright said this. As they say, press X to doubt. The man who makes $5,000 on a slow month, if that were every month, he makes $60,000 a year, but likely more because he also has super chats and other things coming in. So he probably makes 80 grand a year shitting on me. All right. But I'm not supposed to believe he does it for money. All right. Well, Doody, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. You want to know why? Because now you've been exposed. We all know what you supposedly make, but you claim you don't need it. Right. So since you're not a hypocrite, since you're better than me, demonetize your channel immediately. This very moment that you're watching this, because I know you're watching it, disable all advertisements and kick yourself out of the partner program right now. Yeah, I don't want it. Nope, I don't want it. Because if you don't, you're a fucking liar. You're a degenerate hypocrite.
Oh my God. I absolutely hate the way the internet has adopted the fucking term degenerate. Nobody really fucking knows what degenerate means anymore. And it shows. It shows very hard. A degenerate, just for those who may not know what it means, degenerate, it has to do with sexual connotation, just for anybody's reference. If you're a degenerate, it literally means that you're into some like really weird, nasty, most likely kinky stuff. That's what degenerate means. It doesn't mean that you're dumb or stupid or anything like that. And it definitely has nothing to do with lying. Because if that is the case, then the biggest degenerate in the world is calling another person a degenerate. Hello, pot, I'm kettle, have we met? That's literally that fucking meme right there. But that's not what degenerate means.
And everything you've said and done is worthless. So, here's the thing. I make a living on YouTube. I've outright told you guys, I need monetization. I need support. This is how I make my living. I pay my bills, how I support my family. This is my job. Yes, I need the support. I'm not lying about it. I do it for fun. I actually did YouTube for 2.5 years before you could even monetize gameplay videos. And if I were to become rich, like let's say I won the lotto, I would continue to stream, but I would absolutely not monetize my content, okay? Because I wouldn't need to. If I run the lotto, I don't need any more income for the rest of my life, all right? You're saying you're affluent. You're good. You're set. You're good to go. You don't need the income. You're doing it for fun to make fun of me. You will demonetize your content immediately right now. Turn off all monetization on duty streams this very moment, or you are the world's biggest lying fucking hypocrite. And there is absolutely, positively no way you can spin that in another way. You self-felted yourself when you showed your analytics. You incredible brainless dunce. Why would you do that?
You self-felted yourself. Hell, Department of Redundancy Department. Oh my God, bro. You're talking about how someone is fucking stupid and you don't know how to talk.
You not think that this is going to blow up in your face? You're so stupid. And this is what I mean. I don't have to lift a finger. He did it to himself. I literally didn't have to lift a finger. All right, well, actually, now let me get this back to normal size.
Okay. Okay. Well, Duty actually has a response to this unhinged shit. So, you know what? Like Bill O'Reilly said, fuck it, we're doing it live. We're gonna listen to his response. See if we agree or not.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty, back again with another video. And
how's it
my
going,
Lord,
Duty?
folks, man, this week ended on a high note. That's right. And if you're wondering what your boy Duty is talking about, well, our boy Phil fell for the trap. That's right. Your boy Duty laid the bait out, and Phil, of course, like the dummy he is, fell for the trap.
Of course.
And you're wondering, well, what trap exactly? What trap? What's going on, Duty? Well, during Phil's day off, I decided that I wanted to address a video segment on his podcast that he had on Wednesday, where he kept perpetuating this lie about ad revenue and how ad revenue is a pittance and he doesn't make any money on ad revenue and no one makes money on ad revenue. And I wanted to disprove that. I wanted to show that what Phil is saying is, of course, a lie. And what he's doing is he's continuing this grift. That's what it is. It's a grift where he wants his viewers to believe that ad revenue is nowhere near close to what it was previously. And even if he had, you know, 1 or 2 million views, that even with that, he still couldn't make a living off of ad revenue. And that's just a lie. It is. You have hundreds of thousands of YouTubers who live off of ad revenue, and they do pretty well. Big content creators that create not as much content as Phil. They may do a video a week, maybe 1 or 2 videos a month, and they get huge views because their content, 1, is interesting, unlike Phil's. 2, it's the production quality is really good. You know, I'll give you one example, like Turkey Tom. If you watch Turkey Tom's video, they're pretty well done. They're well done, and you can tell that he actually puts the research and he puts the time into creating a good document. And he's not producing content every time, but of course, if you look at his analytics, at the end of the month, he's pulling in several million views, and he's living off of ad revenue, right? And I mean, he's not this huge channel, but he has a decent following, and you know, he puts the time and the effort into his content, unlike Phil. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show Phil, well, look, Phil, you know, here's a content creator myself who is a very small channel. And you know, I managed to make a pretty nice chunk of change.
Your fucking channel's way bigger than mine, but yeah, I get your point. You comparatively, if we're just looking at subscriber numbers, yeah, your channel's way smaller.
Every month out of ad revenue. And why? Is it the quality of my videos? Well, no, I'm a detractor. I make DSP content, which is not that interesting. But my commentary, the way I edit things, my thumbnails, the way I engage with my chat, people want.
Honestly, I really need to like step up the fucking game whenever it comes to thumbnails. I am fucking terrible at making thumbnails, and it's just the way that it is. I really wish that I could make thumbnails better, and I might end up at some point going back and going back to some of my older videos and making a thumbnail just to see if it helps, because I know that there's a few channels that I watch. They have nothing to do with DSP or anything, but they are smaller channels, almost as small as mine, if not just a little bit bigger, and they have noticed a steady incline of viewership whenever they have a good thumbnail. So I really need to up my game whenever it comes to that, but you know, it's difficult. It's very difficult
to digest the stupidity of DSP, not DSP himself, just kind of his stupidity. So that's why people come out and watch my content, Phil. Yes, most of it is about you. I've never said it wasn't. I've never said it was. But again, Phil, since you prioritize begging and streaming for 6-7 hours a day, you know, versus streaming less and putting effort into your videos, right? You get less views. You're counting on super chats and ad revenue.
Exactly.
When if you did the opposite, if you actually cut back on one of your streams, like let's say you streamed once a day, right? You streamed once a day, and then the other half of your day you spent editing your content, making clips, cleaning up your streams and making them more digestible, putting proper thumbnails, putting descriptions and titles in your streams. If you did that, right? If you focus maybe a little bit more on drama content, which I know you claim you hate, but apparently now you're just this huge, drama creator. If you put the focus on that, Phil, then yeah, you're only getting half of my views. You're getting what, 550,000 views? Well, let's be honest, 538,000 views on DSPGaming. You would get more views because your content would be, the quality of your content would be better, right? So the point of me showing this ad revenue is to say, look, Phil, if you were to put a little bit of extra work into your content and stream less and beg less, you can get more views.
Yeah, good fucking luck with that. You trying to get that dude to do even slightly more with what he's currently doing is like pulling teeth. Because just as soon as you say, hey, if you just made thumbnails, like doing that, like I even said just a few seconds ago, I'm dog shit at making thumbnails. But someone like Piece of Peace, for example, he does something very simple where it's just like rainbow background, picture, a picture Phil in the corner making some sort of expression, having Sakura next to him from Street Fighter, and just Phil stream, restream, and like even that garners in more views just by doing that. So if someone like Piece of Peace can do that and get more viewers, then surely to God, Phil can do the same thing for his, but of course he won't. Because just as soon as you mention, hey, if you, made a simple thumbnail for your videos, they would do better. As soon as you say that, he's immediately going to throw, what's he going to do? He's going to immediately throw his fucking family at you. Well, if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to go and spend time with my wife. I wouldn't be able to pet Jasper. I wouldn't be able to go out on my days off and do what needs to be done. If I did that, I would just be stuck here all the time. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't. That's literally what it would be. He's fucking ridiculous.
AKA more ad revenue. My point of this video wasn't to tell Phil you shouldn't receive super chats or memberships or any of that. It wasn't that at all. The point of my video here is to say, if you put some more effort into your streams and what you upload, you would get more views, aka more ad revenue.
Yep.
How many times has Phil said he doesn't care about views? He doesn't want to be Mr. Views. Views don't count. Views don't matter because he is a crowdfunded content creator, right? That's Phil's very own word from his mouth, right?
Yep.
So he doesn't care about views. That's why he puts the slop that he does on his streams, unedited content, hour long, and he just throws it in there. No proper thumbnails, no descriptions, no chapter breaks, nothing, right? And then you wonder why he gets 200 to 300 views. Yep. What I'm saying here, Phil, is that if you cut back on your streaming and you focus more time on your editing, or you actually paid someone to edit your content, right? You would get more views, aka more ad revenue.
Can't do that either.
That would be the end result. And
can't fucking do that either. If he was to suddenly start,
they might say, well, no, views don't equate to ad revenue. Yes, it does.
Be another
it does.
fucking problem.
Because
there'll be another crowd.
If your video gets more ads or more views, that means it's going to be recommended more. It's going to be in the algorithm. It's going to be in the search feature. It's going to show up in the feature page, which means more people watch it, which means more people engage with it, which means more people watch the content, aka watch more ads. That's the whole point, Phil. The whole point is to have more eyes on it, more views, so that more people can get ads. And the more views a video gets, the more ads you get, Phil. That's how it works. Yes, Phil, that's how it works.
Yep.
And I know he belittled me for my hashtags and all that. Yes, Phil, I'm using the YouTube search and algorithm feature to tag my content so that I can be available to a wider audience. What's wrong with that? Are you going to say that that's immoral to do now? That's akin to dyeing my hair blue, and screaming in the mic? Is that what you're going to say? Is that equivalent to LED lights? Is that what you're saying, Phil? No, I used a tool that's available on YouTube to make my content readily available, which you don't do. And I'm pretty sure after this little wake-up call, you're going to start doing it yourself. You're going to start adding hashtag DSP, hashtag DSPGaming to try to butt me out of the algorithm, which isn't going to work, Phil. Okay. So, yeah, he spent, 15 minutes ranting and raving about my ad revenue and how I fell for his trap.
I don't know why that
Phil.
fucking disappeared. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Why did that disappear? Oh. That's weird. So I guess the window name changed somehow. I didn't even... Whatever. Moving on. Keep it going.
You fell for my trap. I baited you into a 15-minute segment about me, Phil. Yep. Little old me, a 19,000 sub content creator. You took 15 minutes of your hour-and-a-half podcast, spent it talking about me. I can't buy that kind of advertisement, Phil. Because as much as a washed-up streamer you are, you still have some reach. People still come and watch you. Even if they still hate watch you, they still watch you.
That's
and they
true.
give you some attention. And what are they going to do? They're going to flood to my channel to see my videos, my content. Hey, today alone I think I ended up getting maybe 150 extra subs today.
That's actually pretty good.
Out of nowhere. My view count,
man.
out the roof. I think I doubled my view count for the day. I got a bunch of super thanks out of nowhere. And again,
Awesome.
I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't have to beg for anything, Phil. All I did was simply put my content out there. You decided to fall for the trap. I planted the bait. You fell for the trap. And what's happening? I'm benefiting. That's right. And I know that's going to even bother you more, Phil.
Of course
So you're making it seem like, oh my god, dude, he made this stupid move. He felted himself by displaying his analytics. Yes, Phil, that was the point. The point was to show my analytics to be open and transparent, to show you, hey, Phil, I'm a content creator with 19,000 views who detracts on DSPGaming, and yet I managed to double your view count and make this amount of money. Why can't you
More
do
than
that?
double, yeah.
Why can't you that? Why can't you do that? And the other thing that I baited you into, Phil, yes, another trap, was I got you to admit your ad revenue. Remember that, Phil? You didn't catch yourself doing that. You finally admitted what your ad revenue is. And you actually said, yes, my ad revenue is half of what Duty's getting. I got half of his views, so yeah, essentially I got half of what Duty got. So Phil essentially got $2,500 in July for ad revenue. $2,500. So again, Phil, I laid the bait out. I laid the trap. And you fell for it like an idiot. You did. So lesson one, Phil, is be careful with the traps that people lay. You may think you're one-upping someone, or you may think you have the leg up. You don't, Phil. You have to remember who you're dealing with here, Phil. You're dealing with a detractor. That's the key word, Phil. You're dealing with a detractor, right? Okay, that's your first lesson, Phil. Your first lesson is you shouldn't be careful falling for traps because they're out there. Just like the Kino Casino folks have a trap laid out for you, just like Medicare had a trap laid for you, just like Mutahar, just like even the guy from the the Kiwi Farms website. They all have traps laid out for you, and they're just waiting for you to bite. That's what they're doing. And you never learn your lesson at all. You don't. Anyway, so that's lesson one. Lesson two out of this is actually this is the golden rule, Phil, when it comes to streamers. If you're streaming content on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, whatever, the first rule for streamers is never give your detractors any attention. Never, Phil. And again, you're hearing this from one of your detractors who enjoys your content and enjoys taking your content and making good content out of it and mocking you. You don't give your detractors any ammo. You don't acknowledge them. Because what you did today was you just set off a firestorm. Twitter was crazy today.
Yep.
The forums were crazy. The Discords were crazy. My channel was crazy. Because you decided to, give me a platform for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and he can't fucking help himself either. He can't help himself because that right there is... And just so everybody knows who decides to come along and watch my content at any point, I'm going to refer to the psychological side of things quite a bit because that's exactly how I tackle things. Having studied and been around psychology for nearly, over 10 years, about 11 years, looking at things from a psychological point of view and tackling it psychologically is exactly what I'm going to do, because that's just how my brain is wired. But that right there lets you see and know that it's part of that narcissism that DSP has. This whole king shit thing that he's got going on, where he's got to fill the king's coffers and he's the king is back and all that. Sure, he may say it's a meme and he's just giving into the meme and he's leaning into it because the casino guys brought it up and whatever, which I think that very minusculely may be true, but for the most part it's leaning toward the narcissism part, because it's about him, and that's exactly how he views himself. He wouldn't originally have called himself the king of anything if he didn't actually see himself as above other people, especially in that sort of social status sort of way. Oh, well, I'm not going to pay attention to you because I'm a king and you're a peasant.
And why? Because you thought you were owning the detractors. You were owning your trolls. And you weren't, Phil. You came off unhinged. Because what people see is they're saying, why are you reacting this way, in this manner, to a content creator, a detractor who has 19,000 subs? What's wrong with you, Phil? Why do you look so unhinged?
Yeah.
That's how it comes off, Phil.
Why are you so felted,
Your little
Phil?
minions in there, your little Kino minions that are pumping your ego up, yeah, they love it. Because, again, they love drama. And you're just too stupid to realize that. Okay, so I've given you 2 lessons, Phil. I figure the one lesson is, Phil, be careful with traps, because they're all over the place. The second lesson is, you shouldn't acknowledge detractors. Never. Even if you think you own them, you shouldn't. You know why? Because you know who acknowledges detractors? Lolcows, Wings of Redemption,
Yep.
Boogie2988, Review Tech USA, Cyrax, Foodie Beauty.
World of T-shirts.
All of these Lolcows, their biggest downfall was that they address and were obsessed with their detractors.
Yep.
And that's what you're doing here, Phil. You're becoming obsessed with your detractors. And what
Not only that, but he made an entire fucking segment dedicated to you, buddy.
happens is eventually the people that even support you will start looking at you as unhinged. And they'll keep saying, why are you talking about detractors? Ignore them. Haven't you spent 7 years telling us to ignore detractors? Don't you have rules in the chat that no one can talk about detractors, bring up detractor memes or whatever?
Yep.
Right, Phil?
Over and over.
And that's what's going to happen. Then you're going to have more people turning on you. So, again, Phil, I'm not the bad guy. I'm giving you free sound advice that no detractor would give someone like you. But I'm giving you advice. Will you take it? No, because you think I'm a detractor and I'm a mouth drooler and I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm doing. Right here, Phil, I laid a trap for you and you fell for it.
Yep.
You fell for it. And thank you. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I do appreciate that you actually, acknowledged me and did this solid for me. Now here, of course you're gonna mock everything, and I put out an 18-minute video the other day, and I gave some really good details. Like I was open, I was honest. I showed my analytics. I compared it to I compared it to Phil's analytics, and I said, look, if you work a little bit harder and you focus on better quality content, you can make more views, aka make more ad revenue, and you can make a living on ads. He didn't take it as that. He took it as an opportunity to start mocking me and saying, well, I only make half your views, so I have to live off of tips and super chat. So I have to beg. That's essentially what Phil said. He has to beg. He's compelled to beg because of his view count. And then, he went on a tirade about, oh, you felted yourself because you exposed your analytics, so now everyone knows what Duty makes. And now, Duty, you can't have the moral high ground. That was Phil's argument. That was his main point, was that Duty and detractors can't have the moral high ground because they're making money off of me. That's what Phil is saying. Well, Phil, I've never said that. I never make money off of you. My content's been monetized. I talk about it all the time. I mention it. I make ad revenue. Yes, that's my biggest source of income is ad revenue. And there's no secret there, Phil. The one thing I don't do is I don't go around begging people. I don't beg my viewers for money. I don't beg them for views or likes or watch my ads like you do. No.
Not that I've seen. I've definitely not seen you do anything like that.
So, again, you're trying to hold this position that everything I say disqualifies what I have to say because I'm monetized, which is ridiculous. I can say the same thing about you. Everything you're saying should be discarded or not listened to because you have a monetary stake in this. Me not detracting on you would help you out monetarily, right, Phil? So I can use that same argument with you, Phil. It's a stupid circular argument that doesn't work. Okay. Now that we got that over with, and he failed yet again to address the whole of my video, just like he did with the PayPal video, where he doesn't address the issue, he just mocks it, and of course he won't show it or talk to his viewers, because if his viewers actually looked at my content, they would say, yeah, that makes sense, Phil. Why are you not living off of ad revenue? What's going on? But of course he didn't do that. He wanted to mock me and try to say that, well, everything Duty says is invalid because he monetizes. Yep. He has a vested interest, a monetary interest, so he must demonetize all his content. That's what Phil said. Okay, this brings me up to the last point of my response to Phil here. The last point I'm going to make is, okay, you laid out a challenge for me. Demonetize all my content. Okay, I am more than willing to accept that challenge on the condition of one thing. Just one thing, Phil.
There it was.
I will monetize my past, my current, and my future content related to DSP. I will demonetize if you agree to stop begging. No begging for super chats, no begging for views, no begging for engagement, no begging for tips, no begging at all, Phil.
Ooh,
I don't care what it is.
That ain't gonna
You don't
happen.
beg. You put your content out, you apply ads, and if people want to tip and super chat you, okay, that's fine. If people want to give memberships, that's fine. But I don't want you uttering the word, please give me. I don't want you begging. If you're willing to do that, Phil, if you're willing to say, okay, Duty, I'm not going to beg anymore,
Never gonna
then I will
fucking
agree
happen.
to your offer and no longer monetize my content. So there you go, Phil. I heard your offer. That's my offer. Yes, I am willing to demonetize my content if you agree to no longer beg.
It's never gonna happen.
Don't beg. If you do that, then yeah, I will keep my promise and demonetize my entire channel as it relates to DSP.
That's
So,
never gonna fucking
Maybe he'll talk
happen.
about this tomorrow. Maybe he'll bring it up in his content. And of course, what he'll end up doing is not playing this video, and he'll try to what does he do? Paraphrase it in a way that simply just meets his narrative. But I recommend if anyone wants to come and listen to my side and listen to the truth, go ahead and watch this video. And then if you want, I actually still have my ad revenue video out there where I talk about the my analytics compared to Phil, and you can hear my actual argument to Phil that he's lying when he says you can't make money or you can't make a decent living when it comes to ad revenue.
You can't make a decent living.
And what he's saying
at
isn't
all.
true. And he even admitted that too. He said what I said is actually right, but he had an excuse. And he tried to claim because he has so many little views that he really doesn't make that much ad revenue. Again, Phil, that isn't YouTube's fault. That isn't ad revenue's fault. That's your fault for not putting out quality content, curated content, making it digestible, editing your content, and making it something that people like to watch. So again, that's your fault. Anyway, that's my response, folks. Let's see if I want to hear if Phil is willing to accept my challenge, okay? I will no longer monetize my content if you agree to no longer beg, okay?
It'll never
Let me know,
happen.
Phil. Ball is in your corner. By the way, I made a similar video on Twitter, and Phil probably launched it. Let me know. Reach out to me. You can DM me if you want, Phil. Or if not, just drop a comment. You're not banned on my channel. Unlike you. Unlike you have me banned on Twitter and YouTube. I don't have you banned either place. You can reach out to me, pimp. Peace out.
Pimp. Oh my god. Oh man. That's good. That's pretty good. You want to talk about the feltoning, that right there. Shit. I swear, man. I don't know. I get so fucking tired. Get so tired of Phil sometimes, but as said, he's, you can get some fucking content off of him, so you gotta do what you gotta do, I reckon. Good lord. Oh, Dave Bennett. Philly cheesesteak, whatever you want to call him. Oh, man. Well, it is what it is, I guess, but, oh, Philly boy is just beyond absolute absolutely beyond redemption whenever it comes to most of this shit. And if we're being fair and honest and balanced and whatever else you want to consider this, old Philly boy is honestly never going to do any of that. He's never going to, not... He's never going to not fucking, try to beg whenever it comes time to beg. It's just never gonna happen. He 100% just cannot help himself whenever it comes to begging. Like, begging is his fucking bread and butter, his peanut butter and jelly. It's what he has to do, and he feels like he has to do it. And quite frankly, it's sad. It's sad in a lot of ways, because, like I said, I watched Phil's content back before he was making any kind of money. And that, whenever he brings up that first 2 years, I was around during that time, and it's beyond anything now just to see how far the dude falls. And he falls so hard every time. Well, there's that. Shit. Alright, I'm gonna have to, once again, editing on the fly, because that's what we gotta do. I don't know why it's not even showing the entirety of the box either. Can we reposition that? That would be nice. Let's recenter it. And then... Oh, nope, now it's all the way over there. So, now that it's all the way over there, move it again. Alright, now it's more in the middle, but it's just odd. I hate the fact that I have to do this every time, but whenever you're streaming, and you gotta do what you gotta do. So I want that to be right there. Is there a way for me to... Oh, that shrunk it quite a bit. Sweet. Can I make this just a little bit shorter without it having a conniption? Oh, too short. Try again. Okay. I think that's about as good as we're going to get with that one. And let's do what we normally do. Let's test it out. Just have it say the same thing again. Now it's not showing up. Man, what's the point? Like on the... Wait a minute. What if... Is that the problem? No. Bro. So irritating. Like, make it too big, then it's just awkward looking. But if I make it too fucking small, then none of the... Alright. I hate the fact that sometimes this is what my fucking thing just deteriorates to, and I have to once more technical difficulty this shit. Like, I don't get it. Why is it not showing up now? Like, it was, like, just a second ago, it was at least showing, like, the very first message that I ever got. And now it's not showing anything anymore. I even had to... I wonder, is it the URL that is just changing every time that I change just a part of the setting? Oh no. Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay, so... So we'll get it right there. Like, I want to shrink it to where it fits. Like, I can move the box. I ain't too worried about that, but... I'm going to make this just a tiny bit smaller on the actual thing. So that's it. I just have to actually hit refresh in OBS, and then it shows up. And it doesn't completely show up either, which is annoying. Like, I don't get why the overlay system is like this. You would think that there would be an easier, and I mean easier fucking way, but apparently not. So I just have to kind of focus on lining up the box first. And then, after doing that, I can no, I don't want to do that. Just move that over, please. Okay. Now I can fiddle fuck with this to get it to work. So it needs to be slightly taller. Okay, that's too tall. Okay, that's fine. You know what? I'm gonna mute for right now. Okay, I think we're back. There we go. Yep, we're back now. Sorry about that. I had to fiddle with the chat box for some reason. I was kind of curious as to why there was nothing popping up, even though I can see the chat that there was stuff popping up. It turns out that dumb me had the wrong. I had the wrong chat box up, so that's wonderful. But it should all be fine now. Well, there was another video that I was thinking, heavily debating on watching, and it has to do with once again with our buddy DSP here. But I think the last thing that I want to touch on instead is the whole Mutahar thing. So once again, for anybody who's not caught up with this, which if you're here watching this and has DSP in the title, I'm kind of wondering why you're even here and you haven't heard about this. But so Dave Bennett, Philly cheesesteak, was supposed to do a co-op stream with Mutahar, and they were going to play that new trending game, the Chain Together. And they were supposed to, as Philly says, they were supposed to play and goof around and laugh at them, laugh at each other while they die, and ho 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 ho, all fun and games. Well, of course that didn't happen. The co-op was canceled, and then shortly after that, today actually, Mutahar uploads a video. And he has proclaimed that he's done with Twitter, that he's deleted his account, he's not going back to it, and the main reason why he deleted his Twitter was because it wasn't beneficial for his business, which makes sense. That makes complete sense as to why you would get rid of something like Twitter if it's not beneficial for your company and the business that you run. Why would you still have it? That makes, like I said, makes total sense. However, there is a interesting coincidence about that I find to be rather ironically funny, is that the only line that we know of anyway, the only line of communication that Muta had with DSP was through Twitter, because that's one of the main things that even Philly Burnell has said himself that he uses to get in contact with any other YouTubers and whatnot is through Twitter, and I'm assuming he also keeps in contact with Andy and PPP of Kino through Twitter as well. So because of the fact that Mutahar has now deleted his Twitter, I'm assuming that the only people that he really cares to get in contact with as far as YouTubers and whatnot is concerned is probably through some other mode of communication. Muta does have a Discord, after all. We saw him time and time again show up on the Lolcow livecasts, and of course he was part of another show that was basically the Siamese twin, the sister show of that, which they all did through Discord. So he has a Discord, we know that much. We know Phil has a Discord, although he claims that he's claimed time and time again that he doesn't, but nowadays, because of the fact that he's allowed to be the king boulder himself, he doesn't really care to let everybody know that he has a Discord now, and that he uses it mainly to talk to his moderators. Which quite literally confirms that all of those reports that we've had before of him having a secret Discord that he talks to his moderators in, and that he constantly bitches about detractors and stuff like that and all the memes that's going on, and they keep track of all the detractors for him, that was all true. But I find it funny that DSP was trying to do this co-op with Mutahar, and then suddenly Mutahar deletes his Twitter, and as far as we know, maybe the communication is still open. Maybe he's communicating with him through Discord, who knows? Or maybe he's communicating with the Kino guys, and that they're just playing middleman of Messenger, going back and forth. Whatever the case is, maybe that communication is still open. But if it isn't, then it kind of goes back to what I was talking about last stream, whenever it comes to the similarities between Mutahar and DSP, as it was with Dick Masterson and Ethan Ralph. It just kind of seems funny to me that it's like, oh, well, I've got a line of communication open with Muta. We're going to do this co-op together, and then all of a sudden, yeah, I deleted my Twitter. I guess there that goes, but who knows? Seeing as they were setting up the co-op to begin with, they probably already have another line of communication, and it's probably through Discord. But it would just be funny to me if it wasn't, and that ended as the moment that happened. If that did happen that way, then I would, like I said, I would be giddy and giggling just because of the irony of it. But anyways, that's that. I've been going for about two hours, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here for tonight. Depending on how tomorrow goes, I might be back. We will see. I normally don't stream on Sundays, but if I do, then we will. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm going to be streaming next week at all. Next week is kind of a big week here at the house, so I wouldn't hold my breath on me showing up next week. However, if I do, I will make sure to announce it beforehand on my YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed to that, you definitely should. I will, of course, put the link in the thing, and I will also put this in both chats, as I'm streaming on two different places. But if you all wish to come and see me, then of course that's the YouTube link. Feel free to do so. Oh my god, I really need to make sure that that's the right link. That's sad to say, but I need to make sure. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed the stream, and those of you who are coming by later watching the VOD, I hope you all enjoyed as well. If you do enjoy my content, then as always, like, subscribe, follow, share, all that good stuff. And I will hopefully see all of you all tomorrow. If not, maybe next week. But either way, always good to see you all come in. Always good to hear any comments, any feedback that you have. And I hope that this night has treated you well, and I hope that your tomorrow is even better. And have a tremendous weekend. So have a superb Saturday and a spectacular Sunday. Until next time, I, the Khan, am out of here.